Joe's in Lansing, Michigan to start off this hour. Hey, Joe, what's up?
Hey, Dave. It's an honor to speak with you.
You too. How can we help?
So I'm a little nervous to say this to Dave Ramsey himself, but I typically use credit cards for all my day-to-day transactions.
What?
I know. I'm actually wanting to switch over to cash, but every time I do switch to spending with cash, it seems like I actually spend more, even if I do stay within my budget. For example, if I'm like at the grocery store and I have, say, $50 left in my budget towards the end of the month, if I'm using cash and it's sitting there in my envelope, I'll go and grab a couple steaks, maybe a case of beer or something. Whereas if I'm using a credit card, already knowing that I've racked up $400 on this month's statement, it really keeps me away from, spending that little extra money and making that statement hurt that much more when it comes in the mail. So my question is basically, how can I kind of get over that mental hurdle and switch to using cash so I don't have to do business with people like Visa and MasterCard?
Okay. Well, the principle of this whole thing, the old grandma's old envelope system, and if you have a grocery envelope and you have the money for your grocery budget in the envelope, you can't spend that money on anything except groceries, and you can't spend. It's all, and when it's empty, you quit buying, and so your problem is you're ending up with money left over, which means you might be overfunding the envelope.
Okay.
You might be overfunding the category, but the overall idea behind the thing is that we figured out years ago at Ramsey that personal finance is 80% behavior, and so when we can do things that create friction, that create mental and emotional recognition of spending, then it tends to lower and control spending within a category. So, for instance, a more sophisticated version of that is on a website. If you have to click too many times and do too many hoops to make the purchase, people will bail on the cart.
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah, jump out because there's too much friction. The opposite end of that is Amazon Prime. You click buy now and it's on your porch in an hour or two. And so that's the ultimate in low friction situation. But what the research tells us, and research done by MIT, is that when people spend cash, it activates the pain centers of their brain. When you spend plastic, it does not.
And I've heard you say that before.
Yeah, but it's not working with you for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with your brain, but
right.
So I don't care. I don't care. What I would tell you to do if you want to is switch to a debit card, not a credit card, and that's coming out of your checking account. And that way, there's no chance that you accidentally overspend a category and end up in debt. And then if you want to do that, that's fine. Years ago, I did that, for instance, with the gas pump. When I started teaching this, you still had to go inside the store to pay for your gas. This is 35 years ago, right? And then they put those things at the pump where you don't even have to walk inside, and you stick your card in there. And what's interesting is the upheaval on high gas prices when you had to walk in the store and pay cash. The political firestorm was much higher because people noticed what they were paying. But when you don't even have to walk inside and you just put your little card in there, and the only aggravation is you see a large number, but that's the only thing, then the political firestorm associated with high gas prices isn't as high because they're ready to string the president up the first time it went to $5 and we all paid cash. Now it's just kind of like, it's one of those things. And so, but that's what's going on. So I would use your debit card. Christine, you got a suggestion?
Yeah, I'm curious. You said that you'll walk into the grocery store sometimes with $50 and then go get some steaks and a case of beer. That sounds like more than $50. Have you had the experience?
Yeah.
Right?
What kind of cheap steak are you eating, man?
Have you had the experience when you get to check out and it's more than the $50, or what's kind of been your parameters with that?
I more meant one or the other, not both at the same time. Yeah, that put me over $50.
And I'm like, that's kind of expensive.
My default setting is very frugal. I'm well under my means as is. Maybe I'm just getting too nitpicky about it, but
no, I think what it amounts to is you don't get you very seldom were overspending before you met us.
Right.
And so all we're doing is giving you some guidelines and some mechanical processes. So
yeah, what baby step are you in right now?
I guess technically I'm in 6, but I'm doing more than the 15% in my retirement.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
It doesn't feel like I'm in sixth yet. I still feel like I'm a youngin'.
You know what? You need to buy more stuff. You're too cheap. You need to enjoy some of your money. Really?
I don't have any to enjoy still. I mean,
I know. I'm thinking, you had some left over and didn't want to buy a steak. I mean, so I want you to enjoy some of your money a little bit at the grocery store. That's okay. You don't have to be on beans and rice at this stage. And so here's the thing. A lot of people, most people that we deal with are spenders in our culture. But occasionally we run into a frugal person like you, and we all have to learn all three. We have to develop all three money muscles: the generosity muscle, the saving, investing muscle, and the spending muscle. And the spending muscle means wise spending, but doing some. We have to enjoy money. We have to save and invest it, and we have to be generous. And if you're not doing, and frugal people tend to leave that one off, and spenders tend to not do either one of the other ones because they just spend it all on themselves. But that's what we run into.
Right. I don't think that he expected such an affirming response after calling it about credit cards.
Well, there is that. But yeah, I would chop up the credit card for sure and get a debit card. That's not a question. And we're anti-credit card here. There's just so many things that can go wrong with the use of a credit card, and the debit card will do everything the credit card will do. It has the same fraud protections. I travel all over the world with my debit cards. I don't have any issues with them that any of you don't have with your credit card. All of us get the fraud alert, sometimes, and no, and all this. And did you buy $3 worth of gas in Canada? Nope, I didn't. So something wrong there. That we all get those things, right? But so I carry debit cards. That's all I carry. Our company has debit cards, hundreds of them, with our team that travels and everything else. And so and they use cash as well. We don't have a company credit card at Ramsey. None of us do, and we don't even have. And I certainly don't have any at home. Although, Christina, full disclosure, after 30 years of doing this, I'm still trying to get Sharon to call it a debit card.
What does she call it?
She still says, "Hand me the credit card." After 35 years of me telling people not to use a credit card. My own wife is a traitor. No, I'm kidding. No, she actually knows what it is, but she just forgets. She's like, "Give me the credit card." And I'm like, "No, don't say that out loud. Somebody will hear you. You're Sharon freaking Ramsey. You'll start a rumor."